Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be creating the makeup look that you're looking at right now. But besides that, I'm going to be giving you my first impressions on the new The Ordinary High Coverage Concealer. This concealer just came out. It retails for $5.80 and I could not wait to try it and share what I thought about it with you. I hope that you guys are excited for the video. If you are, don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you leave. And with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and ignore my hair today because I didn't know what to do with it. I have the new The Ordinary High Coverage Concealer in my hands today. This concealer just came out the day that I'm filming this video. Today is January 19th and I'm on The Ordinary website. So let's see what they're saying about their new concealer. First of all, it is $5.80, so a really affordable price. It is alcohol-free, oil-free, nut-free, vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free. It is a high spreadability suspension system that offers a high coverage with real skin finish. I love that. It says that it's packaged with a nozzle applicator for precise and easy application. This formula allows high pigments to look natural on the skin and resist collecting in fine lines, available across 36 shades, which I think is absolutely incredible. And they have a bunch of different undertones as well. I received two from them. I got the 1.2 neutral and the 2.0 neutral, which are the colors that I mixed together in their full coverage foundation, which I love. And it says that their concealer is formulated to be slightly darker than their shade in foundation, meaning that if you use the 2.0 neutral foundation like I do, you can use the 2.0 neutral concealer and it'll be a little lighter, so it'll give you a highlight underneath the eye. Alright, so let me show you what the two that I got look like on the back of my hand. This is the little nozzle applicator they were talking about, just a little fine tip. Okay, so here are the two shades. The lighter one is the 1.2 neutral. The slightly darker one is the 2.0 neutral. And this is what they look like once they're spread out. I think just like the foundation, I usually mix my 1.2 foundation with my 2.0 foundation to get the shade that I like to be. I think I'm going to have to do exactly the same with this one because the 2.0, even though it is a little lighter than the foundation, is still like pretty much the color of my skin. So if I want it to be a little lighter, I am going to have to mix it with the 1.2. Here are the foundation swatched next to them so that you can see how much lighter than the foundation they are. So this right here is the 1.2 neutral foundation. This is the 1.2 neutral concealer. This is the 2.0 neutral foundation and the 2.0 neutral concealer. So as you can see, they are slightly lighter than their foundation, which is going to make them match very nicely. Now that I'm looking at them swatched on the back of my hand, I think when I first got these foundations, I was a little bit more tan than I am right now, and so I was mixing it with the 2.0 neutral foundation to get a little bit more depth, but I think that I can use the 1.2 neutral foundation right now on its own and it'll match really nicely. So that's what I'm going to do, and then as far as the concealers, we'll see. So I'm going to put away my 2.0 neutral foundation. I wanted to give you the information on the concealer right out of the gate, but I'm not going to apply it right now because I want to do my makeup first. So I'm going to do a little bit of eye makeup and then we'll get into the foundation and concealer application, and I'll tell you guys what I think about it, how I feel about it, and whether or not I think it's worth it. So if you want to go ahead and skip to when I'm applying the concealer, I'm going to put a timestamp below, but if you want to be here for the rest of the makeup application, then please stay. I think for a palette today, I want to use my Kaleidos palette. This one is called the Escape Pod and it's got such nice little shades in here. I'm thinking what I want to do is I want to use the bottom row of neutral shades on the top of my eye, and then I might want to use this like purpley blue shade right here underneath the eye, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario eyelid primer first just to conceal any darkness on my eyelid, and I'm going to set it with the powder. First things first, with my reference number 15, I'm going to grab this color down here as my transition shade, and I'm going to blend it on the crease of my eye. And I'm just doing back and forth windshield wiper motions just to blend that color out on the crease. I think with that same number 15 brush, I want to grab a little bit of this like corally shade up here And I want to warm up the crease a little bit with it. I went ahead and dusted it off on a paper towel because I realized that it was pretty orangey, so now it's just kind of a little bit more soft. And I'm just warming up the crease of my eye with it ever so slightly. You can probably get the same effect by mixing these two together. I'm actually going back with that mixture and blending it on the crease. Switching to my reference number 1, I'm grabbing the dark brown shade here, and I'm going to intensify things with it. So I'm placing it on the outer corner, like the outer V of the eye, and blending it into that crease color ever so slightly. Same thing on this eye, of course, and I'm just back and forth moving my brush so that things blend nicely into the crease. With my reference number 2 brush, I'm going to grab this color right here in the middle. It's called Space Oasis. And I just built it up and put it all over my eyelid by tapping and swiping. Back with my reference number 1, I'm just going to sweep in from the outer corner just to make sure everything looks nice and blended. And now I'm going to clean up underneath the eye and right here on this outer edge. And this is going to help me shape my eyeshadow. I was sloppy with it on the outer corner because I knew that I could do this. I decided to intensify the eyelid color a bit, so I wet my brush and I'm going back to grabbing a little bit more of that shade. I wet my brush with a little bit of setting spray and I'm just going to make that eyelid color a bit more opaque. And I'm just patting and dragging my color on the eyelid a little bit. I went ahead and washed my beauty blender because I wanted to use it today. And for primer, I'm going to use my Tatcha, the Liquid Silk Canvas Primer. And I'm just putting it on the center of my face and blending it out from there. Okay, so now like I said, I'm going to use the Ordinary Coverage Foundation. And the color I'm grabbing is the 1.2 Neutral. And that is what I'm going to use today. And I'm going to blend it in with my beauty blender. This foundation, I've noticed, gets a little bit darker as it dries down. So right now it looks a little pale, but I'm hoping it'll turn to the right color as it dries. Yeah, I think this color is fine. It definitely matches my chest and all that. So 1.2 Neutral it is. On my eyebrows today, by the way, I'm using the Anastasia Brow Freeze, which I reviewed in the last video. And I'm still pretty obsessed with it. I think it is such a nice product. Alright, foundation is blended. Since I used the 1.2 Neutral foundation, I'm going to go ahead and use the 1.2 Neutral concealer. Now, I usually like to place my concealer where I want it and then blend it out. So I'm going to just squeeze a little bit on the back of my hand. And from there, I'm going to place it with a brush. Alright, so I'm placing it on the inner corner, dragging it down a little bit. I always like to go on the side of my nose with my concealer. And then back here, we're going to lift up things a little bit. And we're just going to pat that beauty blender over our whole under eye area. With whatever's left, I'm going to do a little bit on the center here. Center of the nose and chin. The concealer, from what I can tell, is probably like a medium buildable to full coverage. It says high coverage formula, but I don't think it covered absolutely everything. I am going to layer it up a little bit more just to make sure that everything I want covered is covered. But as far as the texture of it, I really like it because it is a very thin, very blendable concealer. And it does have a beautiful natural finish. I'm putting a little bit more right over here. Yeah, it definitely builds up beautifully because as you can see, look at how much brighter and more covered that looks. And it doesn't feel super cakey or thick under my eyes, which I hate. It feels really nice still. Alright, I'm going to lower the light a little bit so you guys can see what it looks like. I really like the nice natural finish that it has. The foundation is like a medium coverage, so you can still see my freckles through a little bit. But the concealer made my under eyes look very nice and bright. I haven't set it with powder or anything yet. I don't think it's thick under my eyes, which I love. So for $5.80, this might be a really good concealer to have. I'm going to go ahead and leave the light down, and I'm going to use my Pat McGrath setting powder for underneath my eyes. This is my absolute favorite setting powder. And I'm just using my reference number 18 brush to place it there. So I'm patting with the brush and then taking off any extra. And now that it's set, it looks really nice and blurred underneath my eyes. Honestly, no complaints. I would have definitely loved it to have a doe foot applicator just because I love placing it where I want it and just getting my beauty blender and go over it. However, this is a more sanitary way of getting your concealer out. It's just personal preference. I feel like we're spoiled with doe foot applicators, but so far, so good. The light is not all the way bright yet, but I made it a little lighter just because I want to do my under eyes and I feel like better light for that is needed. With my reference number 13 brush and the transition color we used, I'm going to smoke out my under eyes and I'm going to soften this line I had done back here at the end. Same thing over here, of course. Now I want to use the color Expo Planet, this color here, underneath my eyes. I'm not sure how it's going to look, but let's hope for the best. And I'm using my reference number 3 brush to put it very, very close to my lash line. And I want to bring it up a little bit. I'm going to blend it on my outer corner ever so slightly, just a continuation of the bottom of my eye. Back with my reference number 13, nothing added to it. I'm just going to soften that lower edge. This was the brush that had the transition color in it, so it might have a little bit left of that, but I didn't add any more to it. In my waterline, I'm going to use this color from Makeup Forever. This is 200. Which is a blue with a hint of purple, kind of similar to that under eye color. Not the exact same, but it'll do. And I'm putting it in the waterline of my eye. And this will help to tie it in nicely. Look at the difference that makes. Lastly, for my inner corner, I'm going to use this shade right here with a very small flat brush. And just tap it in the center right here. This color is so pretty for an inner corner highlight. Done with the eyeshadow, let me go ahead and put on some mascara and I'll be right back. Back with mascara on and finally done with the eyes. I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer. This one here is the Anastasia bronzer in the color Rosewood. I used it in my last video and I hadn't reached for it in so long and I really like this bronzer, so I'm going to use it again today. And to blend it out, I'm using my reference number 24 brush. For blush, I'm going to use my Patrick Tab blush in the color She's So LA. And I'm applying it with my reference number 5 brush. I'm going over it with the cream in the Beauty Blender. And for highlighter, I'm going to use my absolute favorite, which is from Natasha Denona. And this is the I Need a Nude Glow highlighter. I just love how smooth this one is. This is what things are looking like so far. I've been obsessed with this Ilona lip liner by Natasha Denona, so I'm using it again. And I'm using Andrea in the middle. Alright, and this right here is the final look. As far as the concealer is concerned, which is the main purpose of this video, I really like the texture of it. I like the coverage that it gives. I think with concealers, I always have to further play with them and determine how much of it I want to put on and what the best way to use it is. I'm not good at like right away falling in love with concealer. Like some of my absolute favorite concealers, like the Pat McGrath concealer that I'm obsessed with. At first, I was like, it's okay. And that's how I feel about this one too. Like if I had to rate it right now, I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10. However, for $5.80, I think it is absolutely worth trying it. One of my favorite drugstore concealers that I have tried hands down. My under eyes look very nice and smooth and they look pretty bright as well. So for the price, I would say it's definitely worth trying. I really like the way my under eyes look right now. I'm going to leave you links to absolutely everything that I use down in the description box of this video. Everything is linked in the way that I used it, and the concealer will be at the top because that is the main focus of this video. Anyways, if you guys liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you leave. Let me know if you guys are excited about trying this new The Ordinary concealer. I think they're absolutely killing it with their makeup line. I know that they're mainly known for their skincare items, but every time they've come up with makeup products, I have really liked what they've come out with. Their coverage foundation is one of my favorite affordable foundations to go to, and now this concealer does seem very promising. I don't usually do monthly favorite videos, but I think for this month of January, I'm going to definitely have to do some sort of recap at the end of the month, letting you guys know how I have continued continue to feel about everything that I've tried this month, because I have done a lot of first impressions videos, and I think I need to let you know in a future video how everything has continued to work out for me. So I'm telling you, first impressions, an 8.5 out of 10, amazing for the price, and I will update you in a future video. If you guys like this video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. My name is Patty, and I would love it if you join me. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye!